about his budget. I haven't seen it, but somebody told me.
We'll call the August 17th, 2026 regular meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't see anyone from Mr. Alliance here. Clay, you do the honor?
Yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, give us the wisdom and the guidance to get through this meeting civilly and use your discernment to make wise decisions. More importantly, thank you for the rain that you gave us over the past few days. In your name, amen.
Thank you. Do we have any citizens that want to address the commission? Okay, please state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Cassandra,
Unless extended by a vote of the commission.
Cassandra Martinez-Ware, Seward County Deputy Treasurer. Board of County Commissioners, I am speaking to respectfully address the recent decision to rescind the wage increase that happened August 3rd, 2026 that was previously approved for the employees within our office on July 20th of 2026. When the board originally approved these increases, they were to come out of the Treasurer's Fund, which by statute the Commission has no control over. The new wages were formally approved. County Treasurer followed correct procedure to ensure that they went into effect, submitting employee status changes on July 24th to HR, creating a software ticket to ensure it came out of the Treasurer's Fund, and notified payroll, making sure these figures were reflected in the Treasurer's Fund alone. It is also important to point out that each of you commissioners was emailed with the information on Wednesday, July 15th, and was contacted by phone Friday, July 17th, individually by Mary Rose. At that time, 4 out of the 5 commissioners indicated that the information presented was very black and white and self-explanatory and needed no further explanation. There was ample opportunity to ask explanation, request additional information, or raise concerns before the wages were approved and implemented. Given that each commissioner had the opportunity to review the information beforehand and the increases were subsequently approved and put into effect, the decision to reverse them afterward is extremely concerning and disappointing. Employees working second jobs officially gave their 2-week notice. The consequences of this decision also extend far beyond numbers on the payroll scale. Some of our employees relied on those approved increases, making significant financial and detrimental decisions. Some chose to leave their second job, which cannot be undone now. After being formally notified of the increase and actually beginning to receive that wage, they reasonably believe they can rely on the income. These employees did not make this decision based on rumor. They were simply based on an act that you took and put into effect. Our girls have done all they can to cope, dry our eyes, and put one step in front of the other and still come to work, based on a decision that you did not take into consideration. To serve the residents of our county accurately, professionally, and efficiently, those life-altering decisions cannot necessarily be undone simply because the board later chooses to reverse an action it had already approved and implemented. A concern, in fact, that another department received an approved wage increase during the exact same meeting, but it was not rescinded. Nor in a decade for working for the county have I ever heard of such an unethical decision to do so by rescinding a wage done by commission. I must raise questions regarding consistency and equal treatment. In return, employees deserve consistency, transparency, and fairness from the county leadership. Another concern that took place in August 3rd meeting is that simply numbers presented to you by HR of the Treasurer's Office wages only, we feel was significantly a factor in the decision to rescind your wages. We find it very inaccurate and false. The treasurer was not notified that her office wages would be discussed at that meeting, not given the chance to review the numbers being presented by HR or to defend her department. We believe in having a working relationship, and those numbers could have been worked on together as a team. I want to point out that the increase in the wages that you are saying is a 30% increase, which we agree upon on some scale, because our starting pay is so low that simply puts us at a starting wage competitive to the other departments in this county. The position within our office requires significant knowledge, responsibility, accountability, and attention to detail. The wage adjustments recognize the duties being performed as well as the importance of retaining experienced and knowledgeable employees. We have a very tenured department. As you know, you have made hiring very difficult because we can't officially tell them what our starting wage is as we do interviews. They applied at those noting that the starting wage had been increased. We cannot actually tell them no what it's going to be. During the budget session Friday, August 14, you had the perfect opportunity to bring your grievances to light to me and Mary Rose. We appeared directly in front of you, all 5 members. And the treasurer explicitly asked you more than once if you had any further questions. Again, that day, a department head came to you during the budget hearing and notified you that she had hired a new person at $17 an hour. You didn't blink an eye, even after the administrator had stated that she believed the starting pay for that position was $15 an hour. So that made us to believe she did not get approval for that pay increase. You had the floor, you had the audience, and you had the power to make your point. Your silence on Friday spoke volumes to us as a department. I also feel the public needs to know that Chairman Helm removed the county treasurer off the agenda May 14, 2026, where the reflection of the county R&R was on the agenda. I wonder if this is simply because the public will find out the county treasurer worked 222 hours in 22 days to get your R&R fixed, and you want free labor, yet you opted to pay other salary departments heads during the fire in February, but not your county treasurer for R&R turnback. Another point in case of singling out our department. I respectfully ask the board to consider the decision to rescind the wage increases and honor the previous approved compensation. This department is worth defending. Retracting these wages after they were implemented is unethical and appears to be a direct retaliation against our department alone. Our staff is, I'm sorry, I lost track. Our staff for defending, is a retaliation against our staff for defending taxpayer rights. This is simply a case in point where your actions speak louder than your words. What occurred is wrong, unethical, and you as commissioners know it. I urge the board to correct this action immediately by restoring our compensation, as you have never done this to another department in this county. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? You know the rules by now.
Yes, my name is Carolyn Huddleston, and I live at 316 West 7th Street. This time, I'm looking at the proposed raises for the treasurer's office. I took a table I already had where I had been tracking pay since August of 24 and entered the proposed pay there. That is your first handout. Angela had said someone got a 90% raise, and I thought that couldn't possibly be true, but it is. Cassandra Martinez-Ware's raise was over $30,000. The increase over her prior pay was 89.1%. However, this lady is getting a promotion. Annabelle Kleinsmith, who's currently the deputy treasurer, is retiring, and Cassandra is moving into her job. One lady's pay raise was only 17.3%, while everybody else got substantially more. 30% for Mary herself, and 37.3% for Linda Martinez, who may be stepping into Cassandra's old job. The other raises were 31.1%, 29.6%, 27.1%, and 26.7%. The total for 1 year for the salary and wages part of these raises is $108,430. The next handout shows you the cost of the FICA and so on. The total of those ancillary costs is $19,723. Altogether, it's $128,153. I thought Mary had said all costs for 5 months were included in the $45,000 figure she quoted, but they weren't. With those other expenses, the cost for 5 months is $53,397. How much money Mary has in a year in that special fund seems to be very important. How much money she gets in a year. She might have enough to pay the $53,000 for the next 5 months, but can we expect her to have $130,000 to support these raises next year? If not, then there is going to be cost to the county. According to information Mary provided, and you can see the next handout, the least she has received in the last 3 years is just under $147,000, and the most $151,514. So it looks like she would have enough income to pay $130,000 for those raises. However, the wages for Sandra Martinez are currently coming out of that money. Now I'm going to be talking about the next 2 handouts. At her current rate of pay, with no overtime, Linda's pay would be $33,446, but her actual pay in 25 was $34,058. The extra money Mary takes for herself at the end of the year, which is capped by the state at $15,000 and which has typically been $10,000, comes out of this fund. If Mary is intending to still take $10,000 and Linda's pay is expected to be coming from here, then around $44,000 is already committed, and the total amount available to go towards raises would be somewhere around $103,000 and $107,500, unless, of course, Mary gets an increase in the money that goes into this fund, which she actually said she's expecting to happen. How much that increase might be is unclear. Now please go to the next handout. Just based on history, Mary should have at least $103,000 to use for raises. Of course, the ancillary costs need to get included too. Using that figure of $103,000, raises could total $87,148, and there would be the necessary $15,852 for ancillary costs. When we consider the percentages of these raises over the current county pay scale, they seem pretty outrageous, but the differences between the county pay scale rates and what they're currently getting at Cimarron Basin and JCAPS are even more extreme. No raises were given to JCAPS in 26, and I thank you commissioners for that, so their pay isn't quite as high as what they get at Cimarron Basin. However, in May of this year, as the last handout will remind you, the Commission approved a start pay for the intake person at JCAPS of $24.88 an hour. This is a person who's doing a structured interview with the kids, which requires 20 hours of training and a high school diploma or its equivalent as the only education. This is truly a clerk position, and compare it to what's required of those legal secretaries in the county attorney's office. Russell was asking today for permission to make their start pay $17 or $18. In any case, the wage of $24.88 per hour, when compared to the county start pay of $16 per hour, represents a raise of 55.5%. That's an example of how the current pay at JCAPS compares to the county pay scale. You've disregarded the county pay scale when it comes to Cimarron Basin and JCAPS because KDOC grant funds can pay the staff wages. So if Mary has another source of money to supplement county pay, I think it's only fair that she be allowed to use it for that, at least up to the point that her special fund can be counted on to cover those raises. Actually, after this, I hope the county will say no more. I hope you will tell Cimarron Basin and JCAPS and the treasurer's office they aren't going to see any more raises until those are justified by the county pay scale. That's the only way to stop the unfairness to the other departments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else that wants to address the commission? Okay. So we have no additions or deletions to the,
You do have an addition, Commissioners, the information that you had requested at the budget work session today for Mark Johnson to bring regarding the skid steer
oh,
pothole patcher.
pothole patch.
Yeah, and he's already on the agenda, so if you could just do this as 7A, please.
So just 7A, okay. So do I have a motion to add?
Steve, just so I have the opportunity to ask the treasurer some questions, could we insert her again as 4A just for some questions regarding, I have regarding salary discussion?
So that would be what?
Let's make it 4A. Because she'll already be up to the tax sale update.
Okay. Okay, so do I have a motion to add 4A and 7A to the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Stanton, a second by Commissioner Metlin to add 4A Mary Rose discussion and 7A pothole patcher. We have them all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. So do I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
No, I know. We have a motion. Was that you? Okay, I thought I would. Have a motion by Commissioner Stanton, a second by Commissioner Metlin to approve the amended agenda. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 5-0. The consent agenda. We have a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I will.
Have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Lauterbach, a second by Commissioner Vasquez to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 5-0. Item 3, new employees. David Warry's welcome off. Now he's just a regular guy in the audience. Item 4, tax sale update, Mary Rose.
Commissioners, we had the tax sale July 31st. And most of you were there. We sold all 22 parcels. There was none that was not sold, so all of them did sell. That fund did come in at $385,000. We are waiting to, those funds have to be held for at least 14 days. And then Clinda Lostrom is working on the backside of all of that. Any questions on that?
What was your estimated gross?
I don't have any of those figures. I mean, what I can tell you is that that's what came in, and then they'll go in and do everything with district court, and then we'll sit back and see what those numbers are at. They're not going to, I don't expect anything until later in the month. But these taxes will go back to the delinquent taxes that were still on the books, and then it'll be distributed out. So any fees or anything like that comes off of this.
This was for 2019 and prior.
I believe that there was a couple in there that had some 16s.
Right. But I mean, there's nothing from 2020 to date has been in the auction yet.
I don't think so, no.
Do we have those in the process?
We do. That is a conversation that the commission and I will have to have.
I don't know. There's been one that's hanging for years. I know you try to write it off. We've not seen those write-offs. The liberal land property. Do you know where we're at on that?
I don't know. I thought that was something that you and Nathan had talked about, and you guys had already figured all that out because
No,
months ago.
it's the treasurer. I mean, it's under your watch. I didn't know what.
No, the collection's under mine. I don't have anything to do with what that discussion was with the commission and Nathan. There was a bunch of stuff going on with that, and I don't know if it was a leasehold or there was an issue. I know that the appraiser's office was involved with that conversation. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if they had to go in and fix some stuff because it was on the books wrong.
My only conversations are conversations that occurred at commission meetings, and that's on the books for.
Well, I think there was some with emails that was sent back and forth from Nathan Foreman about that.
Asking questions.
And that's what I'm saying. That was a conversation that was between Nathan and the appraiser's office and you. I don't know that there was anything that my office needed to do because I was told that they were handling it in the appraiser's office and him.
So April, can you follow up on it so it gets?
I can follow up on it. I think Mary stating that there were emails going back and forth. I believe the latest update that everybody had received from Nathan is that he was turning it over to Kendall Osterman. I have no idea where they're at in that process, but we can follow up together with them and figure out what's going on.
And I thought it was a leasehold and it was put in the books wrong. So I'm going to definitely follow up on it and see where it's at.
Any other questions? Okay, 4A.
I'll start. I've got, I guess, 3 basic questions.
Okay.
Could you walk us through your expected increase in funding from the state for the Treasurer's Fund, what you base the estimate on, and what you think that number is likely to be based on the change in the statute?
So the Treasurer's Fund comes in daily, and it goes what we call the treasurer's, which is we call the 510 account, that is put in daily for that. I believe to date it has 57,000 in it. I expect a total for the year to be 146,000. I have used some of that, so I do think 64,000 is what I'm also expecting coming in on top of that 57. That fund is used primarily for operational expenses on the treasurer's office, and in the compensation is a big one on that. Moving forward, I was expecting to use from August to December the money for that to go toward the wage increases. That is not something that the commission can sit there and say that the treasurer is going to give them this much to general fund. That is something that we've done. Any little bit that is transferred over, it does get transferred over to my budget to offset anything that needs to be done for operational. I cannot. That's primarily the thing. Moving forward, there will be more money coming forward for 2027 for that fund. So I do expect an additional 80. I did 83,000 for the year for 2027. Did that answer?
Yes, it did. And that's not everything you're expecting to come in. That's a part thereof, correct?
I expect 146,000 plus the 83, and I did figure that low at 6% low for the year.
Okay. Next question may actually pertain to Angela as well. The wage scale I've seen hasn't been updated. Has that been updated? But okay, and in realistic terms, for lower end of the spectrum, it's not reality for anybody. Okay. So Mary or Cassie, could you address comparisons of what your suggested starting wages were, how they in reality compare to similar posts in other departments. Because it seemed to me, and this is just an observation, that you guys were woefully under most of the other departments.
Correct. We've had other departments that are starting at $17, $18, $19 an hour. Starting at that is what they're offering the first person to come in, new employee. Our office was not offering that. In 2024, they increased that to $15. We offered you coming in at $10.04. And then we had to bump everybody up to $15. So that the wage increase that we were looking at was, one, I've had employees in my office apply for positions in other departments within the county because they start $2, $3 more. That's the starting wage. That does not include anything else. And so we were looking at being, one, I did go out and look what other counties were doing. I also looked at where we're sitting at as far as poor, middle, and high class. I did look at retention. I did look at the experience. I looked at several things before I proposed that. And so the bump was to put us in line with other departments starting pay, and then work within that quartile, which is the quartile that is used now, was pretty much the quartile that I was using already, except for the starting wage was a different wage. Is that where what you're asking?
Yes, it is.
And so that's where that kind of came from, was the starting wage was to put us in line with the other departments at a starting wage. And so in all reality, when you have somebody that comes in and they're going to the landfill or road and bridge or anywhere else, and they're starting at $18, $19 an hour, or even $17, we don't even start that in our office, and we weren't even in line with any of those departments. The girls that are in those departments have been there for decades and are only making 16. And so it was to get them within that range of, I guess, acceptance and fairness and the retention and everything else, that quartile was not, it was outdated. It was outdated, and it was not used. I don't think it was used to the best interest of the employee.
All right, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Thank you. Item 5, Steve Linehan, Michael. Update.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. Steve Linehan, Michael. So a couple updates. I have been in contact with Darrell Lutz with the County Association of Commissioners. He's putting together a pavement index so we can. So I think the last time I talked in front of you guys, I had been trying to get in touch with him, and I finally have been able to talk with him. He's got sections developed. He's got our cores that we did several years ago, and he's going to help us to prioritize what roads are priorities for maintenance and overhauls. So, in that same kind of discussion, I guess, today was the opening of the Kansas Cost Share program. So that's a 15% construction program. KDOT funds 85%. Local agencies fund 15% of the construction of a project. Of course, we have to be able to win it, get selected for those projects. I'll probably be in touch with Mark and determine if and what projects we might want to at least approach you about, because that still does put some responsibility on the county to fund 15% of whatever that project might be. What's great about this round of cost share is KDOT doubled their normal funding because of some cost savings that they had from the previous year. So it went from $6 million to $12 million, and so so typically the projects were limited at $1 million, and now it's $1.5 million. And for each district, it's a $2 million allocation. So they would essentially have $2 million worth of projects in this KDOT district. So if we are thinking that we might want a project, maybe one that Daryl Lutz's team kind of identifies as a priority, we might want to think about putting that on our radar. I also talked earlier with Kent and Albert in planning and zoning, particularly about the Conestoga storage site south of 54 on P Road. It sounds like the conditional use may have a provision that it be approved with the provision that a road use agreement be done on Road P. The concern that I would have is that it may not be enough to limit the off route from the south. And so we are going to come together. So I just talked with them today. So I think we're going to look at talking together and talking with Conestoga in the coming weeks about what else we could do to encourage trucks to stay on route or discourage them to stay off route, or a combination of both. Because we just don't want them to use the back roads. I mean, it just conflicts with residents, bus routes, safety, things like that. I mean, it's going to be a pretty big influx of vehicles if and when they do build those storage laydown area. So I think that's it. Any questions?
I've got a couple, and this may involve Mark a little bit. When are we going to have kind of this basic outline from the core samples that you've taken? I mean, when's that going to be put to practical use? And same question, I guess, from Mark's perspective, when are we going to have all the data for the gravel road maintenance and improvements that need to be done? When's that all coming together?
Well, we're actually starting to get traction with Daryl and his team for the pavement, and so I'm hoping we can have it done. I'd really like it really done really soon. I don't know how quickly we can get it done, because I would like to see what our priorities might be for the purposes of something like this cost share, if we wanted to do that. I don't know that we're going to get it that fast, because the cost share is due September 24th. It's not an overly complicated application, but it is going to take some alignment with, what's needed versus what you're willing to be responsible for, things like that.
I'm just kind of looking at this, and I know I wasn't able to be here today for the budget session due to this little wonder. It feels like we're kind of having an issue with knowing what we actually need to spend on some of the road and bridge budget, just because we don't have this data. I know that's not you. So are we 6 months from having this plan put together? 8 months, 12 months?
I would hate to say, because honestly,
what's realistic?
Yeah, no, I'd hate to say, just only because I would have thought we'd have it by now, to be real honest. I mean, it's just, I think, our original plan was to have it done this spring, and it didn't get done. And that's just, at some point, it's kind of out of my hands. It's really in Daryl's hands, unless you
He's analyzing the samples we took. Is that
the samples, the road conditions. He's putting together a full index of priorities. As far as the other stuff, the gravel and dirt roads and what the priorities are on that, I haven't been involved in that. I think that's that. If you want to speak about it, I don't know.
O and P were two of the roads, and we have addressed those with the. Sorry, I can't think of the chemical.
The permazyme.
Permazyme, and what did we use on the other one? Base one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the two those were the two priority. I know they've talked about Road R or Panhandle Road, and I would have to look, but yeah, those the gravel dirt roads have been identified in a work session.
Okay.
Of kind of where we were prioritizing that.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Okay. Item 6, the biennial routine bridge inspection. It's agreement with Kirk and Michael. The local bridge inspection contract scope of services to complete the biennial bridge inspections. As required, Seward County has 6 bridges to inspect and data entered into KDOT's approved software. $3,960, and you're combining our inspections with other counties' inspections to reduce the cost.
Yes, exactly. To reduce the cost, we are proposing that we go ahead and move it up. So 2 years ago in November, we did the inspections, and then so you have a 24-month period, and in order to kind of get you guys our best price to get our people out there, we thought we could do it in September. Of course, that will also then set the next biennial back to September of 2028. To me, it's a pretty minimal
Right.
issue, but that's up to you guys.
So the recommendation is to approve and authorize the chair to enter an agreement with Kirk and Michael for the biennial bridge inspections. Any questions? Have a motion?
I would move to authorize Kirk and Michael to do these inspections in.
Do we have a second?
I will.
We have a motion by Commissioner Metlin, a second by Commissioner Lauterbach to approve and authorize the chair to enter into the agreement with Kirk and Michael for the biennial bridge inspection. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Item 7 is Bart Johnson, Road and Bridge. It's to replace aging equipment. So in the 2026 capital improvement project, Road and Bridge received a $62,000 check for insurance for a truck that was wrecked. They want to purchase 2 dump trucks with snow plows from the Kansas Department of Transportation. Number 1 is a 2000 International 7400 with 117,000 miles for $21,000, and a 2009 Sterling LT 7500 with 146,000 miles for a price of $29,000. Both trucks are to be paid from Road and Bridge account 210. Both of them have snow plows, correct? One of them had a salt. One of them, it does. I mean, one of the smaller truck has a brine tank. Right. In the back. So you've checked these trucks out.
We, Anthony and I drove down there to New York City. We started up, walked through them. Everything looked good. The only thing we couldn't do was drive.
Right.
He told us one was through from Nest City, Kansas to there. The other one came from Liberal. They were drove to the car.
So these trucks basically sit all the time?
The stuff.
So then I know one truck got wrecked. Are we going to,
That truck's gone.
right, I know, but then
We have three Western Stars, two 1998 or 1988s and a 1986, and the two 88s were almost 260,000 miles, 86 is 376,000 miles. This is a breakdown on one of the 98s.
Sorry.
Sorry, one of the 88 models, I believe it's the one with 254,000 miles. To get it back up and going, we're on the minimum side of $22,000.
so we
got two of those.
More trucks, we're going to get rid of one.
Yeah, we got two of those slated to go to the auction.
And snow plows, this will be in. I guess it's a good deal to have snow plows on.
Yeah, the snow plows can come off. Like during the summer, we can use it as a regular dump truck.
Right.
The hydraulics do work on both trucks.
KDOT would not allow us to test drive for
Right.
liability insurance purposes. So
Yep. We did drive them around the lot. That's about as far as we can go.
No comment. So any questions, comments?
Was it last winter when you went to plow
Mark.
and both trucks broke down?
Mark, are you going to need a special check if they approve this?
No.
No.
He said as long as we have the contract drawn up, we can go get them, and then they'll just bill us.
Were both trucks broke down at one time the first time it snowed last year?
Yes, the three snowstorms that we did go out on, we were broke down every time.
Any more questions? Motion?
I will.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to purchase these two trucks.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lauterbach, a second by Commissioner Vasquez to purchase the two KDOT trucks, the 2007 International and a 2009 Sterling, for a combined price of $50,000
Yes.
from account 210, which is the insurance proceeds from the truck that was wrecked 2 years ago or
When,
three.
that was
Anyway, okay.
04.
So any more questions? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Mark. Oh, 4, 5, 6A, 7A is the pothole patcher. Okay.
Yes, I've been on the phone. This is coming from upstate New York. We do have a lot of potholes on a lot of our county roads. There's no denying that. We've been trying different ideas on using our millings to patch these roads. A couple of them have been pretty unsafe the way we've been doing it. We went and purchased a cheap concrete mixer to see if it would work. You know, we'd put the millings in the mixer, turn it on, rotate it, and just hold a propane torch in it. But once that tank gets hot, we got to let it sit for 2 hours before we can even pick it up and go to the next pothole. So I shut that down. I started looking and found this Ameripatcher. There are other companies that make this kind of design, but they're the only ones that have it to where you can actually drive into the pile, scoop it up, load it, basically a one-man operation. The other models are where you have to shovel it into the hopper, and then you have to shovel it out into the pothole. This here does everything you need. It holds 500 pounds. Every 10 minutes you have a 500-pound batch of new millings, and it connects right onto our skid steer. We would have to buy
probably $100 worth of connections to make this work on our machine to get electric to this machine, because we don't have electrical on the front of our skid steer. So, but this would also be paid out of our 210 account. I did tell him that we work with is it Sourcewell? They do not do that. They have a deal. It's called tips, but he would go ahead and give us the discount price on this as well. Earlier I told you it's $32,000. It comes in at $31,551.50.
And just for reference, the other truck setup that you were looking at was significantly more than this, correct?
What's that?
The truck setup you were looking at a year ago was significantly more money than this.
Yeah, it was a trailer mounted option where we'd have to end up buying a 3/4 ton pickup to pull it. It was a 6-ton capacity where you had to make 6 tons at a time to do that, and I just didn't think that was going to be feasible with potholes. So, and you have to, and it's pretty well stationary, 6 tons, unless we were to buy the truck to pull it from location to location, and it's a 24-hour turnaround per load.
Does this use propane for fuel?
Diesel. It's got a side-mounted 7-gallon diesel tank that it uses. It can all be operated from the cab. It's got a remote. It's got a camera that's facing the burner, the hopper, so the operator can see what's going on at all times, and he can operate it by remote, or you can switch at the box and operate it. Another operator could be on the side operating it. But it's got a 9 or 10-inch roller, a wet roller on it, so once you dump it, you can smooth it with the bucket, and then you can come back, put the roller down, and tamp it.
Do you need a special check for this or payment on delivery?
I talked to him today. If we got this approved and a special check, it could be shipped by the end of this week. I mean, but if not, if we don't want to do a special check, I mean, it's no big deal. We'll just be delayed on the potholes another couple weeks.
Okay. Any more questions? You have a motion?
I'll move that we authorize Mark to go ahead and purchase the skid steer pothole patcher as shown for a total price of, and I assume this is freight pending.
This is everything. This is freight and the machine. I think that first page, the machine's $29,950 and shipping is $2,500.
For a total of $31,551.50, which is coming from account number
210.
210.
I would also request that you waive purchasing policy.
Yes.
So that would include waiving the purchasing policy and allowing Mark to get a special check if needed.
Do I have a second? Have a motion by Commissioner Stanton, a second by Commissioner Lauterbach to purchase the skid steer pothole patcher in the amount of $31,551.50 from account 210, and to authorize a special check and to waive the purchasing policy. Did I get it right, Stacia? Very good. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
And he did say that the check needed to be made out to Pavement Technologies Corp.
Just need to turn our purchase order.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Mark, you'll need a W-9. You'll need to request. He's on.
Okay, item 8 is acceptance of a donation from Air Products. Seward County EMS has received a donation from Air Products in the amount of $3,000 to be used for EMS operations and equipment. The donation has been deposited in the Seward County EMS donation fund. The recommendation is to approve the $3,000 donation from Air Products to be used for operations and equipment.
That is correct. And to thank
you, Air Products.
Air Products for the donation. The only thing different on this is I will deposit that check tomorrow.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure it's going to go into 555 account, which is our,
It says it has been, so,
yeah.
okay.
But
And, again, I know we're getting behind April.
I have thank you notes in my office. We just didn't get,
Very good.
we didn't have
Okay.
time in between meetings
understand.
for me to get them in here. Yeah.
Okay. So you'll have a motion to accept the $3,000 donation from Air Products.
So moved.
Have a second? Second. Have a motion by Commissioner Stanton, a second by Commissioner Metland to approve the $3,000 donation from Air Products. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 5-0. Item 9 is the consideration of adding Reserve Firefighter 2 job classification and starting wage. This is to approve, I assume we have Reserve 1 and this is to add Reserve 2, which is, I'll kind of let you go over it and explain it.
So what we're going to do, what we're requesting to do is Reserve Firefighter 1 will now become Reserve Firefighter 2. That's kind of how the progression goes with the firefighter classifications. And we will be creating a new Reserve 1. I've included the job descriptions that I worked on with Jacob, the deputy chief at the fire department. Firefighter 1 will have an emphasis on water supply and getting equipment out to on location to allow those that are considered firefighter 2 and the career folks to be able to focus more on actual putting out the fires. It is going to be based on level of training, experience, certification, physical capability, and overall proficiency. This will allow more of our volunteers to have an active role. We are asking that the Reserve Firefighter 1 start at a $16 per call out. That's 4 hours. And then we would leave the Reserve Firefighter 2 at $20 per call out. And that's a 4 hour.
Okay, any questions, comments? We have a motion to approve adding the Reserve Firefighter 2 job classification and the starting wage of $20 per 4 hour call out.
Firefighter 1 will be 16. Firefighter 2 will be 20. Firefighter 1 is essentially going to 2. And then we're creating 1.
Okay. So that we add Firefighter 1 at $16 per 4 hour call out and adding the Reserve Firefighter 2 job classification and starting wage of $20 per 4 hour call out.
Correct.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make that motion of 16 for firefighter 1 and 20 for firefighter 2.
Okay. Do you have a second?
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Louderback, a second by Commissioner Vasquez to add starting wage for Reserve Firefighter 1 at $16 per hour for a 4 hour call out. And adding the Reserve Firefighter 2 job classification and starting wage of $20 per 4 hour call out. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 10, we want to table it, correct?
That is correct. Legal counsel has asked for some additional time to review some of the changes that SBA sent back and reflect. So if we could at least table that to the next meeting, please.
Okay. Do we need a motion or just table it?
I would make a motion to
Have
table
a
it.
motion to table this to the next meeting?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Metland, a second by Commissioner Vasquez to table the SBA tower site lease buyout consideration until the next meeting. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 5-0. Executive session.
Yes, commissioners, you will have, Forrest is on, correct?
Forrest, you're on, correct?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Forrest, I wasn't sure how long you wanted for the first legal. The second legal is with Wind Farm, and so that will be with Trish. But I figured we would do yours first.
That's fine. I don't have a preference on order. I would say, I know you don't like to don't like to go in and out. I would say we need at least 20 minutes, perhaps 30.
It's up to you guys.
25.
And what's the subject? What's the subject for us?
Threatened litigation.
Threatened litigation. Sounds good.
Pending litigation. Did you say pending or
Possible litigation?
Sorry?
Was it possible litigation? Is that what you said, Forrest?
I said threatened.
Oh, threatened litigation.
All right. I move to recess into executive session for consultation with our attorney, which would be deemed privileged, in the attorney-client relationship under KSA 75-4319B2 for 25 minutes to include the commissioners Forrest, April, and Brock, to reconvene in the commission chambers at
6:52.
6:52. The subject matter discussion will be threatened litigation.
Do you have a second? I have a motion by Commissioner Metlin, a second by Commissioner Lauerback to move into executive session for legal, for threatened litigation, and we'll resume at 6:52. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Be back at 6:52. Okay, we're back in, and we need to go back in for an additional 20 minutes.
I move to recess into executive session for consultation with our attorney, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship under KSA 75-4319B2 for 20 minutes to include the commission, April, Brock, and Forrest, to reconvene in the commission chambers at, I say 20 minutes?
6,
12?
6, 13,
13?
6:14. I mean 7:14.
7:14, discussion of the matter will be threatened litigation.
Go to the second.
I will.
A motion by Commissioner Maitland, a second by Commissioner Lauterbach to go into executive session for 20 minutes for legal for threatened litigation. We will resume at 7:14. All in favor? Motion passes 4-1. Not here. Okay, we're back in open session and we have no action as a result of the executive session. Is that correct?
Not exactly. The commission, no action as a result of the exec session, except April is authorized to work with Mary to answer some more questions and bring them back.
We have one more. Wait on April.
A long day.
It's easy. $7. Yeah, $7. I might be able to buy your burgers.
Depends on where you go.
For $7. Me, I can have a book.
That's fine. I'll move to recess into executive session for consultation with our attorney, which will be deemed privilege in the attorney-client relationship under KSA 75-4319B2 for 15 minutes to include the commission, Trish, Brock, April. Is Forrest on? Or is he on? No. He's on? No. No Forrest. To reconvene in the commission chambers at 7:32, 3. Subject to the matter discussion will be Thresher.
Okay, do we have a second?
I will.
Have a motion by Commissioner Metlin, second by Commissioner Lauterbach to go in executive session for legal. Thresher Wind Project, we will resume at 7:33. All in favor? Motion passed 5-0. Thank you. Okay, we're back. We need to extend it for 10 minutes, so.
I move to recess into executive session for consultation with our attorney, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship under KSA 75-4319B2 for 10 minutes to include Trish, April Brock, the commission, to reconvene in the commission chambers at
7:45.
7:45. Subject matter of discussion will be Thresher Wind Project.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Metland, a second by Commissioner Stanton to go into executive session for legal for the Thresher Wind Project for 10 minutes. We will resume at 7:45. All in favor? Motion passes 4-5-0. Okay, we're back in open session with no action. Waiting on April for her comments. Okay, April has no comments. Commission comments. However, you're first or last.
I think I went first last time, but I don't know for sure. So
Pyro. Yeah. Maybe we need to get a flag.
Yeah, I don't have any comment.
John?
No, I don't have much. I mean, you guys know we worked on the budget all day, most of the day Friday, all day today. I think we're making progress, and I think we're hopefully come in that works for the county and works for the taxpayer too. It's been productive, I think, and I hope keep working and wrap it up. That's all I got.
I'll echo what John said.
well, I do have a few tonight. Been thinking about these comments for a few days, and I'm going to self-edit and present one section of them tomorrow morning on Commissioner Helm's favorite morning show. But I've contemplated how to respond to the events of the last week, and I've decided that simply laying a few things out would be the best. It's no secret that a recall petition was filed about me. Most people are shocked that it was found sufficient to move forward. The petition contains false statements at every turn. Let's call them what they are, lies. Lies that can be and will be proven to be just that. It is my fiduciary duty as a county commissioner to look out for the taxpayers. And when inappropriate pension contributions appear to be occurring, it is my duty and obligation to make that known to appropriate people. The decision to contact Capers Legal Counsel over something that appeared to involve over $100,000 of taxpayer money was made while consulting with the head of our county law enforcement. At no time did I request the sheriff go and arrest April Warden. At the time I was talking with the sheriff, neither of us knew who might be responsible. I most certainly did say something along the lines of whoever was responsible should be prosecuted if this was in fact appropriate. Somewhere in the mess, we get the suggestion that documents, which are public record, were sent to Capers by me and that would somehow be illegal. Seward County itself sends pension contribution records to Capers. Why would records already had by Capers be sent to Capers? They have these records. Other aspects of false accusations in the petition will be discussed in greater detail in the near future. As I've already stated, I'll not vilify the citizens who have exercised their rights in this way. I do hope they will honestly evaluate facts rather than take at face value a tall tale they've been told, which is being promoted by a commissioner who resigned and the sister of another commissioner who resigned. About a year ago at the Chamber Candidate Forum, I guess it's 2 years now, I was asked why I ran for office. The answer was very simple. There were things that needed to change, and I had been listening to President Trump and Steve Bannon in particular tell us that if things aren't right, jump in and help fix them. Look at what the deep state did to Bannon. They put him in jail and tried to destroy his business. Look at what they have done and continue to do to President Trump. Lies and false accusations follow one upon the other, week after week. It truly troubles me that it very much appears the same thing goes on with some local deep state interests, and changes will have to be made in order for this county to properly serve the citizens. Now, let's be very clear that we have some terrific people working for Seward County, including many of the department heads. This isn't about any of you or those people. Those hoping for a resignation tonight are going to be sorely disappointed. The rest of us will now get back to focusing on doing the right thing for the taxpayers of Seward County. Thank you for your time.
It's been a long day. 11 hours sitting in the seat. So be thankful for the rain. Makes everyone's attitude much better. So with that, comment cards? None? Nobody made a motion to dismiss yet?
I will do so.
Have a second?
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Stanton, a second by Commissioner Vasquez to adjourn. All in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you.